Hello student, welcome back in the class. Today, this class is for student 10th. The chapter is electricity, and today we will discuss the types of electricity. So, here we study about the two types of electricity, that is static electricity and current electricity. What does it mean that static electricity and current electricity? So the static electricity, the static words that will explain about the rest charge, and the current electricity, the current, it means the movement, so it explains the movement of charge. So what happens? The static electricity is those type of electricity that is due to rest charge, and the current electricity is those type of electricity that is due to movement of charge. So what is rest charge and what is movement of charge, and how does these charges are creating electricity? So that we will discuss. So it's before these discussions we will understand some phenomena, that how the imbalance of charge or how the imbalance of electrons creating the charge body, or creating some charge or developing some charge on the any systems or on any body. So basically we try to understand that as we know that atom or any material that will be in that will kept in an isolated system, so that will be neutral, so there will be a total charge will conserve. So here the total charge will conserve means there is an equal number of electrons and protons. Okay, so consider this is materials, and they have equal number of positive charge as well as equal number of negative charge. So we make this figure bigger. So here we take an example. Okay, so consider this is and this. So this element, this material have 7 positive charge as well as 7 negative charge. So these systems or this body will kept in an isolated systems, and the total charge will conserve. Now due to any external influence, so due to any external influence, what will happen? So there is some electrons that will be transferred to some different bodies. We try to understand that initially these systems have equal number of positive charge and equal number of negative charge, but now due to any external influence, these two negative charge, that is the electrons, will transfer to that systems. Now what happens? Here these positive and negative charge cancel each other, these positive and negative cancel each other, but in this system and in this system there is an imbalance of charge. Here the two electrons, that is two negative charge, imbalance of two negative charge, and in this system there is an imbalance of two positive charge. So how does these two body charge? So these two body charge as, so this system is positively charged, this system become the positively charged, and these systems become the negatively charged, and in this way the charged body will appears. Okay, so basically what happens when the electron will lose any body to another system, so the body that will gain the electron, that will become the negatively charged body, and the body that will lose the electron, that will become the positively charged body. So what occurs in these two bodies? these two bodies, in these two bodies, the charge will transfer, due to which there is an imbalance of charge, and there is an imbalance of charge. That imbalance within the surface or maybe on the surface of the body. So in that imbalance, this charge body will occurs, or this charge body will appears, and this charge body will due to transfer of charge. So this body is charged due to rest charge. So until and unless when these two body will come into an isolated systems, or when these two electrons will again gain by these two positive charge, or again gain by these bodies, that until this body will be positively charged body. Okay, so let's try to understand again. We just dictate in Hindi. So what happens here, that two negative charge will transfer. Okay, so दो negative charge जो है, so इसमें transfer होता है, and this body become the negatively charged body, and this body become the positively charged body. Okay, and this will occur due to rest charge. Okay, this will occur due to transfer of charge. So this makes the static electricity. So here the imbalancing will occur due to electric discharge. Okay, now there are lots of examples in our daily routine life that we can see or that we can observe about the static electricity. And one famous example that we always study, that when the comb that will rub in with the dry hair, so there is some imbalance of electrons or imbalance of charge on the surface of the comb. So that's why the comb will become the charged, and when that charged comb will get closer to the smaller piece of paper, then the smaller piece of paper will get attracted toward the comb. So in that smaller piece of paper in an isolated system, they will completely neutral, and the comb will become the charged body. So the charged body will attract that neutral body. There is lots of example, that is when the ebonite rod will rub with the woolen cloth, there is some electrons that will be that will come from the woolen cloth and goes to the ebonite rod. So in this way, the ebonite rods will become the negatively charged, and the woolen cloth will become the positively charged. And we can here also explain the properties of charge. So we take a two ebonite rod, or we take a two ebonite rods, and both ebonite rods will rub with the woolen cloth. So in this way, the both ebonite rod gain the electrons from that woolen cloth, and in this way the both ebonite rod will get negatively charged. And when both ebonite rod will come closer or come close together, then that ebonite rod will repel each other. So in this way we will see that the similar charges will repel each other. And at this place, if we take the ebonite rod rubbed with woolen cloth and the glass rod rubbed with silk cloth, so when the glass rod rubbed with silk cloth, the glass rod become the positively charged, because the glass rod lose some electrons to silk cloth, and in this way the silk cloth become the negatively charged, and the glass rod become the positively charged. And in case of ebonite and woolen cloth, the ebonite rod will become the negatively charged, because they will gain the electrons from the woolen cloth. And when that ebonite rod and the glass rod will come close together, they will attract each other, because there is a different charged body, that is ebonite rod is negatively charged body and the glass rod is positively charged body. And how it occurs? It occurs due to transfer of electrons, and due to transfer of electrons there is an imbalance of charge in the systems, and that imbalancing is in the form of within the body or on the surface of the body. So static electricity will occur in the three methods we will discuss that in the further yes. Static electricity having three methods. So there is an imbalance of charge within or inside the within or on the surface of body with the three methods. That is first, that is friction or rubbing, conduction and induction. So one is friction or rubbing, that the second is conduction and the third is induction. So we see in the examples that when we rub the woolen cloth with the ebonite rod, then both bodies will get charged due to imbalance of electrons or imbalance of charge. But in case of conduction and induction, that will be there is no rubbing part. So when one charged body will come closer to any neutral body or any isolated body, then due to influence of that charged body, there is some imbalance of charges within the body, within the systems. Okay, so in case of conductions and inductions, there is an imbalance of charge within the body. There is no imbalance of charge on the surface of the body. So let's try to understand. So suppose here is this is balloon, and suppose this is woolen cloth. So first the balloon will rub with the woolen cloth. Okay, so now what happens? So the balloon will rub with the woolen cloth. So this is balloon. So suppose they have some positive charge and there is a negative charge. Okay, so here it is also, suppose when the balloon will rub with the woolen cloth, there is some charges that will be transferred to their surface. Okay, so suppose there is 4 electrons that will transfer to this surface. So there is 4 electrons, that means 4 negative charges that will transfer to their surface. So in this way the balloon will get the negatively charged. Consider this is wall. So it has some charge. Okay, so now what happens when the balloon gets towards them? Okay, so this negative charge will move inside the body. Okay, and this positive charge that will move toward the surface of the body, and this balloon will get attracted toward the wall. So in this example, what we understand that that the woolen cloth, when the balloon will rub with the woolen cloth, the balloon there is some transfer of electrons from woolen cloth to the balloon, and there will be some transfer of electrons from woolen cloth from balloon, and in this way the balloon will become the negatively charged. Now when that balloon will come closer to the wall, so what we see that the balloon will get attracted toward the wall. So that is called conduction. So when the balloon will get toward the wall, due to that external influence, the inside of the charge of the wall will imbalance. So basically the negative charge, according to charge property, the balloon get negatively charged, so the negative charge of the wall will get repel each other, and they will move away from the surface of the wall, and the positive charge will come toward the surface of the wall, and in this way the balloon and wall will get attracted towards each other, and they will there we show the attractive property. So that is called conductions. And when the induction will occur, there will be the same phenomena will happens, but in case of inductions there will be no physical contact will needed. So in case of conduction there must be a physical contact that will be needed, and in case of induction there is no physical contact that will be needed. So we study about the three methods through which we create or we observe the static electricity, that is frictions, that is conductions, that is induction. Okay, now we move toward the current electricity. So in this chapter we will study lots of things about the current electricity, that is electric current or electric potentials or resistance or electric circuit, how the electric current will flow in electric circuit. So all these things we will study about the current electricity in this chapter. So in short, what is current electricity? So we saw that in static electricity there is an imbalance of charge due to transfer of some charges to the surface of the body, or there will be imbalance within the body. There is an imbalance of charge within the body. But in case of current electricity, so current means movement of charge. So if anybody have movement of charge from one point to or one terminal to another terminal or one point to another point, so in that time there is an electric current will flow from that from initial point to final point. So in this way the current electricity will occurs. So the current electricity will occurs always due to movement of charge, and the static electricity will always occur due to rest charge, due to transfer of charge. Okay, the current electricity will due to movement of charge, the static electricity will due to rest charge or due to transfer of charge. So here we study about the types of electricity, that is static electricity and the current electricity. Now we will study about the types of materials on the basis of electric properties. Hello. So basically now we will study about the types of material on the basis of their electrical properties. So the material will be classified on different basis, like its magnetic properties, its electrical properties, on the basis of their states, or we can classify the material as an magnetic material and non-magnetic material on the basis of magnetic properties. On the basis of electric properties, we will classify those materials into the four parts. Here the four parts are conductors, semiconductor, insulator, superconductor. Okay, so here we study about the four types of materials on the basis of their electrical properties. So let's start with the conductor. So as we know that conductor are those materials that will use to flow the electric current from one terminal to another point, or one terminal to another terminal. Okay, so basically one things that we want to discuss here, that why the conductor will conduct electricity easily, the insulator does not conduct electricity easily, the semiconductor conduct electricity in the middle of conductor and insulators. Superconductors are those materials that will flow the electric current without any losing of any type of energy. So basically these all things will occur due to free electrons that will present in the systems or in the materials or in body. So due to that free electrons, some materials will able to conduct electricity and some material will not be able to conduct electricity, and some material will able to conduct electricity without losing any energy. So So conductor are those material that will able to flow the electricity, and the conductors have millions free electrons, due to which they will able to move the energy from one terminal to another in another terminal. That is current electricity that will move from one terminal to another terminal. So there are lots of example of conductors, that is copper, iron, aluminum, gold, silver. Silver is the best conductor of electricity, as we know. So copper and aluminum that we use as a wire in our home circuit or grid circuits. So basically the conductors are those materials that will provide the path for flowing of the electric current. Semiconductor also flow the electricity, but they have less number of free electrons, as well as the semiconductors does not lose lots of energy from when the electric current will flow from one terminal to another terminal. The examples of semiconductor is silicon, boron, germanium. Our modern civilizations, or in our modern day, or in our modern world, all the appliances that we will use or we are using, that will based on the semiconductor device, and especially we use the silicon and germanium. And one of the best benefits of the silicon and germanium, that silicons will conduct on only 0.7 volt, and the silicon diodes will conduct on the 0.7 volts, and the germanium diode will conduct at 0.3 volts. So they need very less energy to conduct the electric current, or to movement of charges. What is insulators? So insulators are those materials that will not allow to move the electric charges from one terminal to another terminals, or that will not allow to electric current from them. So there are lots of things in our surroundings that we can say that is a insulator, and one of the most famous examples of insulator is plastics. So every type of plastics is a non-conductor or insulators of electricity. Plastics, another example is thermocol, wood, and then thermocol, wood, and suppose tiles and glass. Okay, so there are lots of examples. Paper, okay, so paper, plastics, thermocol, these all are things are insulators because they do not allow to move the charge through them. What is superconductors? So the superconductors are those type of material which have billions of free electrons, and they allow movement of charge without losing any energy. And right now, or nowadays, the superconductor is not possible at room temperature, but the superconductor, some of the alloy or mercury, that will be act as a superconductor at very lower temperature. So here we write an example, Hg, the mercury at 4.2 Kelvin, right? So at 4.2 Kelvin, 4.2 Kelvin is a very less temperature. If we calculate into the Celsius, there is a 270, 4.2 minus 273. So there is a very less temperatures that will the mercury will act as a superconductors. Okay, so at room temperatures we will not consider the superconductors, but in lab that will be some possibility, that will be some there is some possibility of the superconductors. So mercury act as a superconductor at 4.2 Kelvin temperature, and some certain alloy act as a superconductor at 125 Kelvin. So here the types of here we studied the types of material on the basis of their electrical properties, that is conductor, semiconductor, insulators, and superconductors. Thank you. In next class, be ready to study about the electric potential.